Hello everyone and welcome to the daily morning podcast of SBI Securities. So let's discuss how the markets closed on Thursday. Sensex closed higher by 1,197 points to settle at 75,418. Nifty closed higher by 370 points to settle at 22,967.65. Nifty Mid Cap 100 and Small Cap 100 also advanced by 0.48% and 0.19% respectively. Moving on to the top 5 gainers and losers on Nifty. So the top 5 gainers were Adani Ports, Eicher Motors, Axis Bank, Maruti and IndusInd Bank. Whereas the top 5 losers were Sun Pharma, Power Grid, Hindalco, Coal India and NTPC. Moving on to the BSE sector-wise advances and decline. So BSE Auto, Cap Goods, Bankex, Services, Telecommunication, IT, Oil and Gas, Realty all advanced from the range of 1.08% to 2.28%, where BSE Auto gained the highest at 2.28% and Realty at the lowest by 1.08%, whereas BSE Metal and Healthcare declined by 0.4% and by 0.61% respectively. Moving on to the market breadth, where 1,762 stocks advanced, however 2,071 stocks declined. Talking about the 52-week high, where 121 stocks scaled new 52-week highs. Some of them were Adani Enterprises, Ashoka Buildcon, Bharat Electronics, Cochin Shipyard, IRCTC, M&M. Whereas 18 stocks traded at new 52-week low. Moving on to the FI and DI data, where FI and DI both net bought to the tune of rupees 4,671 crores and 146.5 crores in the cash market on Thursday. Talking about the global cues, the US market overnight closed in red. It was Dow's worst day of 2024. US Composite PMI Output Index jumped to 54.4 versus the final reading of 51.3 in April 24. Initial jobless claims for the week ending 18th May 24 came in at 2,15,000 versus an expectation of 2,20,000. The Asian markets are currently trading with a negative bias. We expect a flat to negative start for our market today. Now moving on to the results, where the companies who declared their quarterly earnings on Thursday. So first one we have is Interglobe Aviation, where the consolidated revenue, EBITDA and net profit were up by 26%, 66% and 106.2%. Margins stood at 23.3% versus 17.6%. So overall decent set of numbers declared by Interglobe Aviation. Therefore positive reaction is expected. JK Lakshmi Cement, the consolidated revenue was down 4.4% YOY. However, EBITDA and net profit were up by 44.6% and 41.1% to rupees 337 crores and 162 crores. Margins stood at 18.9% versus 12.5% YOY. So there was a strong set of numbers declared by JK Lakshmi Cement, therefore positive for the company. Honasa Consumer, the consolidated revenue was up 21.5% YOY. EBITDA stood at rupees 33 crores versus a loss of 3 crores YOY, and net profit came in at 30 crores versus a loss of 162 crores. So therefore strong set of numbers declared by Honasa. Therefore positive reaction is expected. Johnson Controls, so the consolidated revenue was up by 40.9% YOY. EBITDA stood at rupees 81 crores versus 23 crores, and net profit stood at rupees 49 crores versus a loss of rupees 1 crore. Margin stood at 10.6% versus 4.3% YOY. So a strong set of numbers declared by Johnson Controls. Overall positive reaction is expected. Bikaji Food International, the consolidated revenue was up 32.9% YOY. EBITDA and net profit both were up by 160% and 197% YOY. Margins stood at 26.2% versus 13.4%. So overall strong set of numbers declared by Bikaji Foods. So positive reaction is expected. Next we have is Gabriel India, where the consolidated revenue was up 12.5% YOY. EBITDA and net profit were also up by 14.7% and 18.9% YOY to rupees 80 crores and 49 crores. So overall good set of numbers declared by Gabriel India, therefore positive. Sandhar Technologies, the consolidated revenue was up 20%, EBITDA and net profit were also up by 45.2% and 45.1% YOY. Margins came in at 10.7% versus 8.8%. So strong set of numbers declared by Sandhar Technologies, therefore positive reaction is expected. Fortis Healthcare, the consolidated revenue was up 8.7% YOY. EBITDA and net profit were also up by 40.7% and 47% YOY. Margins came in at 21.3% versus 16.5%. So a strong set of numbers declared by Fortis Healthcare. So a positive reaction is expected. Schneider Electric, the the Q4 revenue was up 14.9%. EBITDA was also up by 20.1%. However, net profit declined by 93% and stood at 3 crores versus 45 crores. So weak set of numbers declared by Schneider Electric, therefore negative for the company. Bayer CropScience, the revenue was down 19.5%. EBITDA and net profit were also down by 53.1% and 39.4%. Margins stood at 12.2% versus 21%. So overall weak set of numbers declared by Bayer, therefore negative reaction is expected. Barbecue Nation Hospitality, the consolidated revenue was up 6.4% YOY. EBITDA was also up by 37.3% YOY. However, the company reported net loss of rupees 4 lakhs versus a loss of 12 crores YOY. So overall, the numbers were better than the market expectations. Orchid Pharma, so the consolidated revenue was up 3.4% at rupees 217 crores. EBITDA and net profit both were down by 27.1% and 44.3%. Margins stood at 13.3% versus 18.9%. But however, the numbers were in line with market expectation. So the stock will be in focus. Now talking about the companies who will be declaring their quarterly earnings today. So some of them are NTPC, Hindalco Industries, Bosch Limited, Torrent Pharma, United Spirits, Ashok Leyland, Glenmark Pharma, Affle India, Century Plyboards, PNC Infratech, Karnataka Bank, Jamna Auto, Hudco, Hindustan Copper, Kolte Patil, NAID, Pari, and so on. Now moving on to the companies who are likely to be in focus today. So first one we have is UPL. So the company and Aarti Industries have entered into a JV for manufacturing and marketing of specialty chemicals that find application in multiple downstream industries. The JV company is expected to commence the commercial supplies by 1Q FY27 with a peak annual revenue of 400 to 500 crores in the next 2 to 3 years. So overall positive for UPL in long term. Brigade Enterprises, the company has signed a joint development agreement for a residential project with GDV of Rs 720 crores on Old Madras Road, Bengaluru. So positive for the company in long term. Transformers and rectifiers, the company has received an export order worth Rs 161 crores. So therefore positive for the company in short term. Sun Pharma, Tyro shareholders have approved the merger agreement with the company. So Sun Pharma will be in focus. Moving on to the IPO offering, where we have Office Space Solution, where the public issue was subscribed to 4.28 times on day 2. The bids were led by investors by 0.32 times, investors 6.82 times, and retail investors 12.27 times, and portion reserve for employees 6.81 times. Talking about the block deals, where we have Star Health and Allied Insurance, where Epis Growth sold 1.52 crore shares, Mio 4 Star sold 140.17 lakh shares, Mio Star sold 61.34 lakh shares, ROC Star Investment Trust sold 59.08 lakh shares, while ICICI Prudential Life Insurance bought 1.17 crore shares, HDFC Mutual Fund bought 56.08 lakh shares, East British Capital Master Fund 1 Limited bought 55 lakh shares, Plutus Wealth Management LLP bought 30 lakh shares, and among others at rupees 535 per share. Talking about the bulk deals, where first we have Coforge, where New World Fund Inc. bought 3.22 lakh shares at rupees 5,073.66 per share. Then we have Mayur Uniquoters, where Unifi Capital Private Limited blended Rangoli sold 3 lakh shares at rupees 550.5 per share. And third we have is Crystal Integrated Service, where Blackhawk Properties sold 75,000 shares at rupees 710 per share. Then we have is insider details, where first we have is Usha Martin, where the promoter Peterhouse Investment India sold 2 lakh shares on May 21st. Yeah, so that was all from the daily morning podcast of SBI Securities. Thank you for listening.
Investment in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.